Hi and welcome to my setup guide for F1 Manager 2022. If you're struggling to get 99%, 100% setups, then you've come to the right place. As you can see here, we're with Williams. It's 2024 and so we're near the end of our third season. So we're going to run through practice and setups, and you're going to learn everything that I've learned so far. So let's get into it. As you can see, this might be a bit of a familiar sight to some of you. No Latifi here. We got rid of him pretty quickly. By accident, actually, but I won't get into that. We're going to jump straight into setups. And towards the end of this video, you're going to see my setups for an entire year. Right, so we are Circuit of the Americas. We're going there. As you can see, Williams, we're up into fourth. We finished fourth last season. Just about managed some points in the first season, but we're doing really well now. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's go to the race weekend and get into practice. Weather's looking good. That's great. That helps. We are going to put in our reserve driver straight away. And first tip, use old stuff for practice. Do not use anything orange or nearly orange. I say anything, but particularly the gearbox. Do not use an orange gearbox because you will be forced to change that in practice and potentially lose half an hour, 40 minutes of practice. It's valuable time that we need to be using. Enough things go wrong, drivers crash, and we end up losing enough time anyway. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. If this was a bit lower, as you can see, I've not used this one. That would be pretty close to be getting orange, but there's just no need. Let's do the same for the second driver. These are pretty worn already. I'm going to leave that one. ERS wears down really slowly, so I'm actually going to use this one. It might wear down differently for you, depends on your wear. But I think that's fairly universal. That one's okay as well. We're going to put that on. Right, so setups. My suggestion, start with rear wing, okay? Have a play around with it. As you can see, this one moves the straights a lot. So we start here because even though this one will also move straights, that doesn't move straights, that doesn't move straights, that doesn't move straights. Only this one is going to get the straights in the right place. So get that in the middle. And then front wing. So first of all, rear wing, then go to front wing. And again, try and get this somewhere in the middle. If you're at a circuit like Monaco or Zandvoort, then you're pretty much going to want these up here. They're very high downforce circuits. You're going to want that. And likewise with Monza or Baku, they're going to be way down here. Okay, so it's fairly accurate to that level. And we're going to put these around here. So we're focusing on the oversteer here and that. First of all, rear wing, front wing, and then we do the anti-roll because this does traction quite a big chunk. I'm going to get that. That's fine in the middle there. And then the fine tuning. Once we've got it in a good place, we'll get this to the more fine tuning like this, and then a bit of toe out. Let's get that there. Try and aim for them roughly in the middle. These are nearly in the middle, all these places. That's great. It's going to go out first of all on softs for probably 20 laps. Just have a quick look. If we go here, we can see it's quite a long lap time, so that's more than enough time to get the feedback that we need for the driver. So that is the first car. The second car, it's not going to be which car did I do? Oh, we did the second car. This is the first car. They often end up being similar. The setups, often the wings are very close, but they're not the same. And we do see variation from one year to the next, but I'll get onto that a little bit more later. So it seems strange that this would be so high when the other one wasn't. I'm going to put this down a little bit here, but still, let's get this. Get the rear wing first, front wing, then the anti-roll, get the traction in the right place. Focusing here, and then tyre camber. Let's bring this up a little bit here. And like that, there we go, that's fine. They're all nicely in the middle, that's good. And again, we're going to send him out for 20 laps. So they're good to go out. We'll start this and we'll send them straight out to get their laps done.
Radio check. Copy, radio check.
Give him a little bit of breathing space, give him a minute, and then send him out. And they can just go. So, as you can see here, let's turn that off for a minute. 0 out of 5. Over time, roughly every 5 minutes, he's going to get some feedback. It depends not on the driver, but on the engineer that's associated to the driver. So the engineer's feedback stat will make this go up faster, and then the engineer associated with your second driver is going to make this go up faster as well. Parts knowledge is dependent on the parts, the stuff that you manufacture. So if you design a new rear wing and put it on, this is going to go down until they get used to it. And then track acclimatization, that increases the longer the run. So as you can see here at the beginning, or you can't because I'm in the way, let's move me out of the way a little bit. There we go. It starts off very shallow and then it ramps up a little bit more towards the end. So the longer the run, the better. Now, the reserve driver doesn't have that. They just have experience over here. 300 there, as you see it's going up. That doesn't depend on any, that doesn't depend on the length. Oh, he's struggling to grip already, so this seems like quite a lot of wear on this track. Let's just calm that down, but you should be alright to carry on till we get that 5th bit of feedback and we will get ready to call him in. He's ready to come in.
What do you think?
And he says it's good.
Copy.
And this one, he's coming in as well. Try and get them in as soon as they can. Maximize the time here. And then we'll reconfigure this one. So, again, same as before. Focus first of all on rear wing and the straights. It says good, so it wants to be nearby, but not miles away. So you'll have optimal, you'll have great, you'll have good, and you'll have bad. And then obviously unknown. If they haven't got enough feedback, they won't tell you. But here we go. We have good on this. So we're going to go either there or there. One of those places is fine. Front wing is bad, so we want to get this really as far away from here as possible. We're probably going to go up towards this top end. And that's also going to push the rear wing out a little bit. Let's just check rear wing. Are we happy with that? Do we want high downforce for America? Possibly. Let's go there. And then traction. We're focusing on traction for anti-roll bar. I'm going to put it there because this is pushing this out. Go back if we need to, back to front wing. Just bring that in there. This looks fine to me. This is okay. Maybe let's bring that in a little bit. Okay, so nothing particularly close to here. We didn't have any optimals or any good, so or any great. So get some distance between where you were and where we are now. So, and then big gaps for those areas that are bad. That's fine. Now, for our number one driver, we're going to want him to go out a little bit more. We want that track acclimatization to be higher to really get the best. Make sure we get that bonus for that as well. So, once again, I'm just going to check. The wear was pretty high on that, and we have got 32 minutes once this is done. So we're going to send them out for... Oh, the tyres won't actually do that much. When it says they won't do this much, that's how much it will do, but you'll be getting down to 0%. The tyres really drop off at 30%, so you're going to want a bit of leeway. We might actually just use another pair of softs on this one. We'll stick with the medium. We'll stick with the mediums. Try and go for 25 laps. Confirm that.
Just no rear grip.
And then Jack Doohan is coming in. We just missed the pit entry, so he's taking a little bit longer to come back. Let's get him. Is he coming in? Yes, he is. Come on. Come on, mate. So, same again. Nothing particularly good on this one. Start with the rear wing. Again, traction. We don't want this. It's bad. We want this as far away as possible. We're going to be probably down to this end here. So again, it's following a similar pattern to the last guy. High downforce. I think we're going to want to go with. And we got good. When we're doing the front wing, we're focusing here on this one. But keeping an eye on that. Anti-roll bar. Again, was bad, so we're going to get this in this area. That's good. Tyre camber. Let's get that cornering away. Bad, so we've got big distances here between these, and then this is looking okay. This one swings quite a lot. This could be this side maybe. We'll go around there. Again, so the reserve driver, we want to save. So remember, the track acclimatization requires long stints. So we're going to save the longer running tyres for our other driver. We're not going to waste those on our reserve driver. We'll send him out on the softs again for 20 laps. He should come in again and maybe get a little bit more feedback on his final stint. Wow, the tyre wear on this track is pretty bad, so we're going to have to watch that. Let's confirm that. Set this to full speed, and then we'll send them out again to get their information. When this gets close to being done, let's send him out. I'll slow the time down just to save every little bit of time that we can. Send that out, send them out. Off we go, and then away they go. So again, here you can see he will only reach minor gearbox wear. If that was major, then we would have to replace his gearbox on the next time he comes in. Make sure that tyre wear is a bit lower. He will only get to 500 and then stop, so the long running tyres are a bit of a waste on this guy in the first practice session. And yeah, we just got to wait for them to come back. Everyone who gets Williams seems to get rid of Latifi pretty quickly. I actually got rid of him by accident. I was re-signing Alex Albon, extending his contract, and I just thought, oh, I'll put him on driver 1. And then of course Latifi gets booted, so I thought, well, there's no big loss there. But I probably am going to try another save at some point to get Latifi to be the GOAT. He will be winning world championships with Williams at some point. Right, he's ready.
Yeah, it's okay. Copy.
Let's call him in. And this one will be ready pretty soon, because their stats are very close. Right, reconfigure. I should have left him out really, to get that longer run, but I want to tweak this in a little bit more. Right, so we got great on some of these, only good on the rear wing, so on the straight, so we are going to put that there, I think. Yeah, we want this to be high downforce. The traction is bad, so obviously we went the wrong way with Alex here on the first driver. I'm going to put that all the way up there. We're focusing on this. We were fine with the, remember, again, rear wing first, that's looking okay. Front wing, that is great, so we want it to be quite close. It can be anywhere from, let's have a look at this one. It can be anywhere from, even that far away could be optimal, or it could be sometimes a little bit more. Could be a couple of clicks, but we're happy with that on the front wing. That's fine. So rear wing, front wing, traction, anti-roll bar first, and then these last two just for a bit of fine tuning. So that wants to be a bit closer, and then this one's gonna bring it in to about there. So these two are great, and that's what we want to do. Get that quite close, very close, very close. Bad, big gap, good, small gap. That looks good. So we can send it back out on the mediums. If we did want to use another tyre, you could use an intermediate. If you didn't want to waste a third tyre on practice, you could use this, because you always hand back 2 sets of tyres at the end of each practice session. So if we'd use the soft and an intermediate, for example, it would actually hand back these 2 soft tyres, and we'd lose an entire fresh set of soft tyres. But the way it stands right now, we've used these 2, it's going to hand those 2 back, and they'll be unavailable in future practice sessions. So if you did find yourself in a bit of a pickle, use an intermediate or a wet, not too much of a problem. Don't use them all though, because you might need them in the race. These will carry over to the race. So if you have low wear on some of these, or even some of these softs, it can affect your race. So you're getting rid of two tyres, that's fine. Let's stick him on intermediates, and he's only going to be out for 6 minutes-ish, but that should be enough time to get one piece of feedback, and that will really help track acclimatization in the next session. We can really put this down, because there's only 6 minutes left of the session, and they take more than a minute to finish a lap. So let's just double check. Yep, we're happy with that. Confirm. Second driver can come in. Let's bring him in. And he's saying great here. It will tell you if it's optimal. It will say bad, good, great, or optimal in that dialogue window. So you'll know if it says optimal, you might be more inclined to leave them out there to get the track acclimatization. But oh great, this is much better for the second driver. Rear wing first. Now this is great. You're not going to want to touch the rear wing angle at this point, because it changes too much. You change that over here or over here, that's too much of a change. We want this to be a very small change here, and that will only happen from the front wing. Now if you have to change the front wing loads like that, then obviously you might have to adjust the rear wing. But generally, if you've got yourself in a great position with the wings, in a position like this, you are not going to touch the rear wing. Leave the rear wing where it is. Front wing angle, we're going to make a small adjustment, because we're great on that as well. So this potentially can go here. So this optimal might be right at the edge here. And in fact, I think we want a little bit, I think 8.5 is enough here. This is going to come in a little bit with some of the other tweaks. So again, follow the pattern. Rear wing's fine, then front wing, then do the anti-roll bar. Now traction says good. Now do we want to go this way or this way? I think this way. But just check how it affects the other ones. So that's fine. Tyre camber. Might want to go there. So that leaves that bang on. Optimal, that's where we want it. We want that to stay there. And then this is very close, and that looks quite good to me. Yeah, we can leave that there. That's fine. We're going to leave that in that position. And then again, like I said, this guy, we want to save these tyres with. Yeah, so as I was saying, we don't want to waste these tyres on this guy, on the second driver. We need the long running tyres for the actual race driver to get his track acclimatization. And these are both pretty worn, so we will in this case use, this is when I would normally use maybe an intermediate set of tyres just to run in for the last 4 minutes. Hopefully that'll hopefully be enough time to get that one piece of feedback, which will really help the next driver. Run plan. Again, it's only going to be a few laps, it's not too much of a problem. Okay, yeah, tyres, yep. Okay, that's good. Now, if you get to a position in the setup where you only need to change the front or rear wing, that's great, because or if you can afford to only change the wing, then the reconfiguration is a lot quicker, only takes a few seconds. So that again saves you time to get back out on track, and get that feedback that you need. So yeah, just rear wing, front wing. If you can avoid changing the bottom three, then even if you don't get
Good session.
session's over, but he might still get one. Yes, he got one. So that's going to help. I'll show you in a second when we get there. Well done, Carlos Sainz. Second driver's coming back in, and as you can see, track acclimatization is nowhere. Now at this point, we got one feedback, and if you change any of this at this point, which you might do, but if you change it, it's going to take longer to get the 5 out of 5 feedback and really fine tune the setup. So at this point, we've got one, and we only need, if we send him out like this, he only needs to get the other 4 pieces of feedback, and he can then go out on a longer run on his hard tyre. So let's put the soft tyre on again. We're leaving that as it is. That's fine. It helps that this one was optimal. That's great. Hopefully we'll see a few more of those. Second driver. Again, he's got one, and again that was optimal. That's great. He won't need that many laps. Soft tyres. That's fine. Off we go.
Radio check.
Send them out.
Copy, radio check.
It should be green now.
Let's go light on these. Yep. So there. The challenge here for us is to get 100% on track acclimatization for Porsche. I don't know how you say that. Sorry. Alex should be okay, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as well anyway. But as you can see, we're already at 3 out of 5 for Alex and 3 out of 5 for Teo. Minor gearbox where it's not too much of a problem. 4 out of 5. He will come in shortly. There we go.
How's the balance?
Let's bring him in and get ready.
I'm happy.
Yeah, copy that.
Keep an eye on the other guy while he's coming in. Okay, that's fine. And we got, wow, that was, don't usually get it that quickly, but at this point, if it's just braking stability, it's pretty much just going to be toe out that you're changing. Maybe 1 click, maybe 2. So it might want to go there. And which way is it? Pot luck at this point, I'm afraid. But I would be inclined to go towards the nearest end of that little window there. So I would tend to go that way, and it's going to be either there or there. Let's go for that. And we're going to send him out on a long run, so that's going to be 39 minutes left of the session, and we can put him out. How many will this do? 38 laps, 29 laps, 30 laps, and a 1:37. So yeah, that's going to be enough to keep him busy for the rest of the session. And then Teo will get his. Keep an eye on that 4 out of 5. As soon as it goes, bring him in. And he's saying it's great at this point. Let's reconfigure. Great. Oh, fantastic. Now this one, I would change tyre camber 1 click and then bring the toe back in. As you can see, braking stability will be... now some of the others will move ever so slightly and they may go out they may go down to great. Worst comes to the worst at this point, we can always revert back to the 97%. But we are going to try and get that perfect setup. That was only the first section of. Again, we'll send him out on the hards. He's got 35 minutes to get his job done. This is just the second practice session again, and so we get those last few bits done. So send them out on the long run here. If we look at this, as you can see, track acclimatization quite shallow at first and then ramps up more on a longer run, and we really need that. We really need that on this one to really try and get him up as high as we can. Hopefully we'll get the full bonus still on Teo, but that's not always guaranteed. So yeah, we just need to fast forward to the end of this session. Nothing else we really need to do. We just need them to get that long run out there. They're both very, very close. Very happy with this. As I said, towards the end of the video, I will show you the setups that I have, that I recorded for an entire season. Well, it was actually started at the end of the second season, because for all the information that you get in this, it doesn't show you, or at least I don't know, maybe someone can show me where it is, because there's lots of stuff hidden, but it doesn't show you the setup. It doesn't show you the setup that you ran last year. As you can see there, it says optimal, so you would know. I'm very happy for him to just carry on his long run and get the track acclimatization. Yeah, it doesn't tell you what setup you ran previous year. That's still saying great, but we know we're pretty close, so we might have to go back the other way on this one. Yeah, so it doesn't tell you what you ran the previous year. So I recorded all those for a whole year, and it does change from season to season. So I've done Singapore twice and Japan twice, and got 100% on Singapore for the second driver. And yes, the setups are different, so they do change. There is variation, so you do have to tweak it in every time. And we have got at the end of the session. That's good. They will still get a bit of acclimatization on those last few seconds. Great. Well done, George Russell. So, as you can see here, we're pretty close. We've got 99%, 95%. Just the track acclimatization for Alex to get the bonuses that we need here. Performance bonus, and then not sure if it's actually one performance point for this and one for the track, but we're going to do our best to get through day 2. There we go. And let's have a look at what we got. It stayed the same, so it may well just be that bit in the middle. Let's pop that in the middle there. It's got to be in the middle. If that was great and that was great all the way over there, it's got to be there in the middle. Let's go for the soft tyre. Remember to change these for qualifying, but they're fine for now. And Teo, what happened here? Yeah, see, everything else went out. So it could be a front wing adjustment. 1 tick to bring that back. Oof, that's a big change. And then bring this back up. Or let's go back with this. Do not touch your rear wing or your anti-roll bar at this point. And only tentatively go for the front wing, because it does give small changes. So it's mostly the fine tuning with these last two So it was this one that was out, wasn't it? Before we moved that way and it didn't. So we want to. I think it is the front wing actually, and it went to great going higher up rather than optimal. So we know optimal is in. That should be close enough, I think. And then does this want to come down? Really is fine tuning in this last bit, but don't do it until you're happy. Optimal was over here. Actually, I'm not happy with that. It wants to go that way, which means the front wing does have to come down. Optimal was in there. Getting that last percent or two is tricky, but we'll try that. And we will use the soft first and then the medium for Teo. Again, that track acclimatization probably won't get to 100%, but I think you only really need to get to about 90 to get that bonus point for this. So we're happy with that. Off we go. Send them out. Let's put them on light running. Alex here should get to 100% or near enough. Shouldn't be too difficult to get him there. We will struggle with Teo, but should get close enough. So yeah, that's most of it. Play around with the sliders and the setup. Get used to the feel. Get used to what they do. There's only 5 sliders. It's not terribly complicated. But it does sometimes. Bit of a VSC. I hate VSCs in practice. It keeps pausing, and I think Hamilton had a crash. As you can see, Hamilton for me in the 2024 is racing for Aston Martin, and Bottas went back to Mercedes. Haven't had any retirements yet, but. Alonso's 43, still driving.
How does it feel?
Optimal. Let's bring Alex back in. Do you want to bring him back in? Yeah, let's bring it back in and see what he's looking like. And Teo as well. We didn't get that notification. Keep an eye on that. Speed that up a little bit. In you come. Let's have a look. 100%. Brilliant. So yeah, happy with that. Again, remember, you're going to lose 2 tyres. Which ones is it going to be? If you wanted, you could use these and get rid of this. Get rid of this if you wanted to keep an extra set of softs for some reason. Or keep it and keep the hard tyre. And the reason for that might be the particular type of tyre that you want. I'll show you towards the end why you might actually want to get rid of or keep this tyre or get rid of this tyre if you want extra softs. So, but the softs are wearing down pretty quickly on this track, so maybe we're not going to end up using them as much in the race. Let's just put him out on a flying lap. 100%, we're really happy with that. Let's just put him out on a... flying lap. As you can see, that's changing really quickly because it's just tyres that is changing. Oh, this one's still...
Copy that.
Do you want to keep working these tyres?
It's going to have to be 8.5 on this, and it's going to have to come down. Maybe we can go there. Maybe we just want to put it there, back where it was. Try it there. So we remember these were all optimal apart from this one. So now this can go. The green here shows you the best overall setup, not necessarily the best setup for that individual measure. But here we keep these all where they were, and then this one's just a little bit lower. I think the first time we tried to go a little bit higher, then we played around with the front wing. Let's bring this back down here. Pretty certain that that front wing's in the right place. Again, don't touch rear wing or traction at this stage. But he's going to want to go out on the mediums for as long as he can now. And he's only going to have 29 minutes. Not ideal. Sometimes you can get a little bit more time. That's fine. Let's send him out. Right, so we're going to send Alex out. And let's get him to the top of the timing sheet here. So let's bring this down. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, he's already on his next lap. That was just a bit fast. Let's push him here on fuel, and then just before the last corner, we're going to go attack. Oh, and I should have gone deploy already. Deploy for fastest time. Overtake to focus on using ERS to overtake, and obviously defend for defend during the race. I see a lot of people maybe using deploy or overtake not so right. This deploy will focus on lap time specifically, whereas overtake will focus on actually overtaking the car, using it in different places. So anyway, got Alex to the top of the timesheet there. Oh, and he's back in the garage, not a problem. Right, he's fine, he can sit in there. He got 100% optimal, that's great. I'm actually going to note that down for driver 1 to keep my records up to date. So we had 8 front wing, 13 rear wing, 2.8, 3.5 and 0.4, and we got 100% with Alex, that's great. I'll show you that in a second. But he's fine. We can just leave him as he is. We don't need to do any more running. He doesn't need 100% on his track acclimatization. 97 is enough. And let's save the engine wear, etc, etc. So we just need Teo to finish his run, and that will be the end of practice. So he will get up towards, hopefully in the 90s. We're at 70% right now, and you'll see it'll go up a decent amount towards the end. 11 minutes left. So guys, please remember to like, subscribe. It's still just saying great. That's a bit unfortunate. Now, if you're a bit concerned about that, what I will actually do instead of that last bit of track acclimatization, if we have enough time, I'm just going to call him in and revert that setup. What did we get? Still saying 95. We're going to hit revert there. Go back. Come on, finish up the session. There we go, top of the timesheet, fastest time. Here on this section, we only got to 85% track acclimatization. Bit of a high wear track on that one, but I think I messed up as well with the medium tyres. Did I bring him back in again? I don't remember. But yeah, we got 97%. Brings their stats up for the race. So basically 15 out of 15, you get an extra 3 stat points basically on these areas. So that's it. That's how I do setups. Practice. I mentioned tyres, and one reason why you might want to get rid of the extra set of medium tyres, or keep that extra set of mediums, if you come here into reports, you can see this screen in most of the places. This is one of the things actually I like to look at before a race when I'm looking at my strategies. If you come into any of these, really will have compound performance, and here we can see this is fairly standard. Obviously there's a lot of wear. This is very high. The soft tyres don't last very long on this track. This is a very high wear track, but sometimes you see here that actually the average, and again remember that's an average lap over the life of the tyre, sometimes you actually see the hard is better than the medium, or the medium is better sometimes than the soft. So you might look at it and think, well, you know what, the soft is the medium's a good tyre for this track, or the hard is a good tyre for this track by this screen. In expected strategies, as you can see there, you might actually want 2 sets of mediums. I don't think you'd ever want 2 sets of hards, but who knows? Maybe under some safety car situations, it's quite possible. But you might look at this and think, no way I'm ever going to use softs in this race. Or you might say, oh, well, I'm not going to use mediums. I want to use the hard. It's a good tyre, or something like that. So having that knowledge might make you pick those medium tyres or those hard tyres, or keep the medium tyres, whichever you want. It'll inform your decision as to what you want to do with that. So that is practice, and I will just show you my setups for the year. So I've just been recording. I started recording at Singapore at the end of year 2, and at the top we have driver 1 and we have driver 2. This is the setups that I used and the percentages that I got. Bit of a bad one there. I think that's probably the worst one on the entire sheet. So I'm sure you can pause that and have a look at that. Like I say, it does change. So when I went to the next season, as you can see, I got 100% for driver 2 at Singapore. I got 100% the next year, and as you can see, the 6 front wing became a 7 front wing at the following year. The anti-roll bars changed. The what's that one? Is that the camber? The camber and the toe changed, and this was 100%. This was 100%. So obviously you could start. I started with this on the second year, and it obviously wasn't 100%. So there's some variation there, but this provides a good starting point. So if you want to use these for your races, that's absolutely fine. Go ahead and do that. It might provide a decent starting point. And then same with this section at the beginning of year 3. Let's move my head out of the way so you can see that. There we go. So again, driver 1, driver 2. This one is obviously a negative, but I didn't feel you really needed to put a negative at the beginning of all of these. It should be quite obvious. And again, as you can see, these are the percentages that I'm getting. I'm getting 99%, 100% nearly every time. Some of our worst ones, our worst one for driver 4 throughout an entire season was 94%. Sorry, let me just hold it here for you. So you can see these ones. If you want to use any of those, that's great. There's what we just did, recorded that. I need to actually record Teos. Now, what did we get? We got 97%. Let me have a look at that. Where's it gone? Let's bring this back up so I can see it. You guys can see it, but I can't. So we had 8.5, 13, 1, 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we got 97%. That's great. Again, there are some places when you can see I got 100% on both drivers. Where did we get that? There we go, Paul Ricard. And again, their setups were different. So there's variation built in, which is great. But like I say, these might provide a starting point for you. So let's that's it. That's my setup guide for F1 Manager 2022. If you like this, please do hit like and subscribe. And let me know what you think. Let me know, is there anything else you want me to cover? Anything else you want me to give you a bit of guide or tips on? And thanks very much for watching.